Good morning, friends, wherever you are, and welcome to today's installment of the Cichlids and Coffee live stream, wherever you are. Hope you're having a cup of your favorite beverage, whatever that might be. For some of you, that might be coffee. I've got my cup on my warmer, my cup warmer. Oh, yeah. This is that cup that I got from Wonder of Cichlids a long time ago. I don't even know if I don't think Wonder of Cichlids exists anymore, but that's a shame. Whips World, thank you for that immediate AV check. Very appreciated. Keeps me out of the mystery of what's going on. Thank you, Fly Guy, for wishing me good luck. Bonne chance. We're sitting at a different perspective today. You see my my sink back there. That's my work area. I've got a little hospital tank back in there, and there's a tank right there that has a mystery fish. There's a mystery fish in there, and it's a fish that I've owned before. It's a fish that I love. And I have not been able to grow one out the way I'd like to. And if one of you can guess what that fish is, I'll send you a little bit of North Fin food. What do you think about that? If you can guess what that fish is back there, you're going to get some North Fin food. Whip, if you can keep an eye on that for me. I'm not sure if I'll be able to watch it, but I might announce at the end what that fish is. We'll see if somebody guessed it. Couple things to go over today, and first and foremost, I want to do a very quick shout out to a couple folks, and then we'll go commercial free. I think we really do need to acknowledge North Fin for everything they do for the channel. Darius up there in Canada helps us out a lot with food giveaways and t-shirts and all kinds of swag. So very big shout out to my friends up there in Canada at North Fin. Also want to do a very special shout out to those of you who help me on a monthly basis. My Patreon Garage Gang members, you are the best. You starts for as little as $3 a month. Helps out, like I like to say, in more ways than you know. Big shout out to all of my monthly Patreon supporters. A couple more shout outs and we'll just be on our way here. I've got to do a shout out for all the support they give me over at the Aquarium Co-op. Corey, Zenzo, and the gang at Aquarium Co-op. Big shout out to them. And if you folks shop on Amazon, and who doesn't these days, consider using this link to access Amazon. Amazon.com/shop/ben.o.chart. It'll land you in my Amazon store, but you can bounce out of that store into general Amazon shopping. But if you used my link to get to Amazon, it actually gives the channel a small percentage of what was purchased on that visit. So it's a very easy way to help the channel without having to put any additional money out of your pocket, because it doesn't affect your cost. So check it out, try it out. Much appreciated if you do. And big shout out to Josh, who was just visiting Andre Fritz down in Houston. He was down over at Beantown Aquatics over in Houston, Texas, and he posted some pictures to Instagram and some pictures to the Ben.o.cichlid Facebook group, and very, very cool. He told me the facility is amazing, great protocols. Anyway, he was very impressed with all of it. But remember, you can still get 15% off with anything from Josh at Cunningham Tropicals. That's fish and food. And yes, I use a lot of, I use his premium cichlid flakes with my cichlids. I use the tropical flakes with the planted aquariums, including the discus fish. They love them. And this is the fish catnip. It's like fish crack. The earthworm pellets from Cunningham Tropicals. I don't give the earthworm pellets to the Africans because the African cichlids can have a tendency to go into bloat. They do get frozen krill. Maybe you saw my short on feeding them. They get a ton of krill maybe once a week. The treat for the South and Central Americans is frozen bloodworms, but they do get these earthworms. The South and Central American get the earthworms, but the Africans do not. They only get the frozen krill because of the risk of bloat. But at any rate, check those folks out. Certainly check out Andre down at Beantown. It's called Beantown because he used to be up in Boston, which is sometimes called Beantown, and now he's relocated down to Houston, Texas. Now, some of you recall that I did a review of a Higer product, an air pump that is currently providing oxygen to 4 tanks behind me back here. The 4 hospital and quarantine tanks that have pumps on them are being run by that Higer. But the big sacrifice in doing that was that I was replacing lithium battery backup air pumps. Now, the problem with that is that if there's a power outage, the oxygen would stop. And it's important to keep the surface agitation, and it's my theory that during power outages, your fish are probably going to die from a lack of oxygen before they're going to die from, let's say, your filter or your heater or whatever not working. It's going to be a lack of surface tension breakup that's going to kill them off. So if you have a way to continue breaking up the surface during a blackout, during a power outage, or as we used to call them in California, rolling brownouts, it's a good thing. So I replaced the Aquarium Co-op air pumps. I also had, I think, an Aqua on there, maybe a Higer. I think I also had a Cobalt Rescue Air. I had several pumps on there that had lithium battery backups on them. So I pulled them out and I put this big pump, right? And but I had this little misgiving. So I reached out to Higer. I said, look, my only problem with this pump is that if the lights go out, I've got no water movement. I've got no surface breakup. And, well, guess what? Higer has a pump with a lithium power backup, a large pump. It's this one here. I'll show it to you. I'm going to be installing it, and I'll do a video of the installation. The installation is going to be real simple. It's going to be just, I'm not even going to have to change the hoses. The tubing can stay the same. It's basically the same gang valve that goes from the one big hose connection into the outlets, right? But it's called the Higer High Efficiency AC/DC Air Pump. and it is it's a beast. It's heavy. It's got a little carrying handle on it. So let's say you're going on a trip and you have several buckets of fish. Easy to carry out with you. It comes with some big mama air stones. Look at the size of these air stones. Four times the size of a normal air stone, probably. You always want to rinse these air stones before you use them because you know they've got a lot of dust on them. Lots of hoses, lots of hose. And this hose, in the past, I haven't liked Eiger hoses because they kink. These are better. The ones on the last unit were better, and I suspect this is going to be the same rubber. And you get all of the one-way valves included. See one floating around there? You get all the one-way valves so that if you're using the pump below the water line of the aquarium, you're not going to get a back siphon to the pump. So you put those one-way valves on there. So they do that, and then you get this big diverting air gang valve. So we can run six airlines. Six airlines with this pump. So I'm just going to take out the old one, right? And put the new unit in and just put this in to the existing hoses. It's going to handle everything. And, it's got a simple, this not only turns the air on or off, but also adjusts the volume. So I had to, when I installed the last one, I had to tweak the pressure to each sponge to make sure that it was balanced out correctly. Because some of the sponges were too powerful, some of them were not powerful enough, so I kind of worked them back and forth, and I finally got it just right. A little power cord so you can keep the battery powered all the time. I hope this is longer than the last one. I think the last one was about maybe 5 feet. Yep, this looks a little longer. This looks like it might be an 11-foot cord. To make life easier. And I'll show you the unit. This is the first time any of us are seeing it. So you've got a heavy duty handle. Heavy duty carrying handle. Here's your AC plug-in. You can cover that up if you want. And of course you can just unplug that and just run it in your car. You can also run it off of a car charger, right? You've got the main airline here. And then apart from being able to tweak each of the individual hoses, you've got a main control right here. Oh, look at that. The battery has some power. Can you hear that? Oh yeah, that's pumping. That's pumping a lot of air. I'll turn it up. That's full blast. Now you might say that's noisy, but when you put a hose on it, it's going to drop the decibel to next to nothing. So this is basically an on-off, and then you have a readout. And that digital, that LED readout will tell you I'm using 6.4 volts, my battery's at 44%. So I'm going to keep it plugged in, but it will turn on automatically in the event of a power outage. But this little LCD readout tells me, like if I'm on a trip, the LCD will tell me if I need to plug into the into the cigarette lighter in the car. Do cars even have cigarette lighters anymore? Anyway, this is a real heavy-duty unit. I'm impressed. This is the 18, I think it's 18 watts, or 18, 18 watts. They have a 10 watt and an 18 watt. This is their biggest one. Energy saving, super powerful, ultra quiet, blah, blah, blah. LCD, multifunctional. And let me give you some specs if I can. And I'm going to do a full video on this. Okay, here we go. The 18 watt is pushing 301 gallons per hour. 301 gallons per hour. So that's a lot of air. The cord is 5 feet. It's a 5-foot cord. And it looks like it'll run for 8 hours. 8 hours, I think, if there's a power outage. So, which is different, for example, from, I think, the Cobalt Rescue Airs. I think those can run 48 hours. So, something to consider. At any rate, that would be my only misgiving, that it only goes 8 hours. But let me tell you, most power outages here in Nashville are over in an hour. We had one once that was 11 hours. So, but 99.9% are back on in an hour to 4 hours max. So that should do the job. So there you go. The look for the video on the full review. I'll go ahead and post links, and I'll also post cost information and all that good stuff. And I should probably have that video out this weekend at some point. It comes in at, I think, was it $75? Let me see. Let's see. Since you want to know, Higher high efficiency AC DC. $65. 62 at saltwateraquarium.com. Now I don't know if that's the 18 watt or the 10 watt. There's a 15% off coupon that you can get by going to the Higher webpage, higher-online.com. They're offering 15% off of the $75.99 price using code MY15. So check that out. And the 18 watt is $75. The 10 watt comes in at $56. But I would go with the 18 watt. You get 300 gallons per hour versus 240. And I believe you get the no, you still get 6 outlets even with the 10 watt. 18 watt is a bigger unit. Okay, there you go. Just thought I'd bring that up. If some of you out there don't have your Cichlids and Coffee sticker, I have a few of these holographic stickers left. Send me an email to ben.o.cichlid and I'll be happy to send you one. Just be sure to include your full name and your full name and your full mailing address. All right. Billy Bob, those were some big air stones. Sometimes you need some big air stones. Let's see here. Robert Johnson, if you're not feeding Northfin, what are you doing? Oh, are you from Canada? Alex in the house. Fisher Fun in the house. Proverbs in the house. Ronald is in the house. Dave O. Whip already said hi to you. Hey, Kendall. Kendall's here. Minnie Mac is here. Did I already say Dave O? J&N Aquatics. Hey, Jeremy. Katie Eli, good morning to you. Good morning, Warren. Discus North, one of the first on the stream, along with Fly Guy. Mr. So Fish-ticated. Love it. Hey, Ron. Ex-Collie Kev. Hey, Ex-Collie. Ball 165 is lurking. Hey, Discus North. Check out Discus North if you want to see some beautiful discus. Check out the channel of Discus North. All right, let's get into today's topic. First, let's do the official start for today's live stream, as you have come to know. There you go. People are suggesting I change the logo because it's not just cichlids anymore. You saw my Instagram. Cichlids are my first love. I'm looking at them right now. Great fish. Big cichlids, African cichlids. Love those fish. But I have diversified considerably. I'm kind of looking at my South and Central Americans back here. But I want to talk with you about a plan. I started pricing some aquariums. Now, I haven't looked at things like Craigslist and things like that. I haven't done that. And I am assuming that on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, there's probably some great deals out there. But I was talking to Joe over at Glass Cages. I just love their tanks. They're built like battleships. I mean, this one behind me here, it's got like an inch thick glass. I mean, it's just they're just battleships. They're just made forever. So we started talking back and forth, and by the time we were done, I was, in that 1,500 to 2,000 range, which, a little rich. We're talking a tank and a stand. No substrate, no plants, no equipment. Just the bare bones. Beautiful tank. Right? Beautiful stand. One of their new stands. They now have a workshop, a woodworking section right within Glass Cages. So all their stands are made in-house, custom painted, beautiful, right? So I'm kind of going back and forth. And I thought, you know what? I think I'm going to try the 90-gallon first. Now, it's going to have to be a step-by-step transition, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. I have to leave the tank available in case where I move the fish doesn't work out. So the first step is going to be to take the fish that are in this tank behind me, and you're looking at I don't know if you can make them out, but you've got a electric blue Ochart, some beautiful Congo tetras. I mean, the Congo tetras might be able to go into. They might conceivably go into the planted 55. What do you think about that? Do you think those Congo tetras would be okay in that planted 55, or do you think they would eat the embers and destroy the plants? I'd be curious to get your input on that. The Buenos Aires tetras, I would probably rehome them. They are, they're just a little nippy. I might just take them to the aquatic critter or give them away. And possibly try, or just try all of them. Try all of them in the 210 gallon. Put the red head Tapajos, the red spotted gold severum, the Congos, the electric blue. Just throw them all into the 210, which is a pretty peaceful tank. I put those silver dollars in there, and there was no trouble, no problem. So maybe throw everybody into the 210 and keep a real close eye on it before making any changes to the 90 gallon. In other words, leave the 90 gallon alone. Let it just keep running. In case it doesn't work out, I can pull the fish out and put them into the 90 gallon. Put them back into the 90 gallon. Then, let's say it does work. Let's say that they all seem to be getting along and nobody's getting picked off or eaten or picked on too much. I can then start the transition of the 90 into a discus aquarium. Now, what does transition to a discus aquarium mean? I would start to add plants. I would probably buy a whole bunch of big, tall, maybe some jungle val, maybe some of the spiral crypts, some of the bigger, taller plants. Take all the plastic plants out of there and start adding real plants. Let the plants go through their cycle, right? Their melt back, and then when they start to really show new growth, they start to flourish, and there's not too much black algae, right? It's actually, they've actually established. When that happens, at that point, start bringing over the discus. Bring the discus over. And so it wouldn't be an overnight as tempting as it might be. Then after you bring the discus over, assuming they look comfortable, they look established, I was able to raise the temp, right? I got to raise the temp on this aquarium to 83, 84 degrees. I bring them over. They look comfortable. Then I'll start bringing some of the plants and decor from the 55 and use those plants perhaps in the front of the 90 gallon because they're going to be smaller plants, right? So fill the 90 gallon up with tall plants in the back. When those plants look established and looking good, maybe add a little more wood and just get it so that it looks like a real nice home for discus. And then after it really has a feel that it's gotten established, the plants are looking good and thriving, the temperature's up around 84, 83, 84 degrees, bring the discus over. And I'm thinking 4 to 6 week transition, 4 to 6 weeks, to make sure that the fish from the 90 are doing fine in their new home and don't need to be pulled out and brought back. Then, once that's established, start adding plants to the 90, remove the plastic plants, put in real plants, start getting it ready, raise the temperature, all that sort of stuff, and then bring over the discus. So, I think maybe 6 weeks. Maybe 6 weeks. What do you think? What do you think about that plan? Do you think it's a crazy plan? You think I've lost my mind? Do you think that the fish in the 90 would survive in the 210? I did have a problem with the electric blue Ochara with this old electric blue Ochara. I think if I put this electric blue Ochart that's in the 90, who by the way has gotten so pretty recently, and put him into the 55, I think he would probably eat the embers. What do you think? Would an electric blue Ochart eat ember tetras? So give me your thoughts. There's always plan B. And Joe, if you're lurking from Glass Cages, there's always plan B. I can always pull the trigger on that beautiful tank and stand. I think it's 120 or 140 that I'm discussing with Joe. And I would put it at the bottom of the stairs coming into the fish room. 48 by 24 by 25, Euro braced, not drilled. So I would need, I probably have the same, and it comes with lids, glass lids. So definitely over 100 gallons. Beautiful stand. They're custom making their stands now. I don't know if you can see that. Very pretty stands. It's got a cutout, I noticed, right in the back. I guess if you want to run that kind of a sump system. All right, let me know what you think. Give me your thoughts. If you have any questions, start them with ben.o.cichlid. That way they jump out at me on the chat. And also, I don't know if some of you are trying to do a super chat, but it might not be available. Well, maybe it is. I see the money sign down there. But this live stream, I'm doing the live stream in what they call not monetized, and I'm doing that in an effort to try and prevent YouTube from dropping in a commercial every 30 seconds after it uploads to YouTube. So it's not monetized, but I think you can still do a super chat if you're so inclined. All right, so let's see what your questions are. I'm going to scroll back on the chat a little bit. And thank you, Whip, for being my moderator. Whip is keeping the chat family friendly. And Robert, so I answered your question, Robert. About $75 for the 18 watt, but they are offering a 15% discount. So Fish Ticketed is in India, all the way in India. So sorry about that that India to London plane crash. Just a horrible disaster. Craigslist does still exist, Whip. Discus North. Well, that's interesting. Do they nip your plants? Are they nipping your plants at all, those Congo tetras? Now, they do dart around a lot, and I've heard that you don't want fish that dart around or are too active with discus, but you're saying they do pretty well. I don't think I've noticed that. I'm going to have to go to your channel and check that out. See, because that's also another idea, leaving some fish behind, and they would keep the tank right alive. But my main concern with the Congos would be the fact that they're not as chill as the discus, so they might stress out the discus. And are they plant eaters? If the Congo tetras are not plant eaters, that's not a bad idea. Discus North, the reason I'm going to do that with the plants, add plants, new plants first, is because the 90 is so much larger. It's going to need a lot of plants. So, but when I am ready to move the discus over, just to minimize the stress, I might just do the plants in the 55 and the discus at once, as opposed to messing around so much, because it's going to be stressful. It's going to be very stressful. Wally hits me with a super chat. Thanks, Wally. It looks like the super chat function is working, even though the stream is classified as not monetized. CC Custom Leatherworks, glad you're here. I hope you caught some of the discussion on what I'm planning to do. Robert Johnson, I think you're severely overthinking the discussion. Yeah, I tend to do that a little bit. Like when people look at my discus tank, they might say, you're doing too much. UV, 2 water changes a week. Some people say, listen, just treat them like regular fish. Don't worry about it so much. But the other side of that coin is I am having success. And I don't know. I've never acquired a group of discus. I used to have discus many years ago. I've never acquired a group of discus without at least having one die off. I still have the original 10 that were sent to me by Josh. So I'm very reluctant to not be a little bit careful on it. Grow more veggies. I'm gonna have to install it. Grow more veggies. I'm gonna have to install it and run it. The other one is completely quiet. The only time I got a hum on it was I went back there and saw that it had shifted a little bit and was touching the back of the aquarium. But now I've got it on a styrofoam pad, and the feet are sort of pushed into the pad a little bit, so it stays put, and that dampens any vibration. So the prior one, it's totally quiet. I'm hoping this one is going to be just as quiet. It certainly gives me more peace of mind with that lithium battery, and that digital readout's kind of cool. You got to admit that digital readout's kind of cool, and I've got 6 outlets instead of 4, so I'll be able to handle 6 sponges or air stones. So it's going to be a nice upgrade to a recent upgrade. Wally's Fish World. You're talking about the Buenos Aires tetras, moving the Buenos Aires tetras over. Would the Oscar see them as a meal? Perhaps. They've never been fed live food. Like some people back in the day used to see people feeding feeder fish, right? Goldfish to their Oscars. They're not, they've never been fed live food. They're kept pretty full. I give them a good feeding once a day. So would they hunt and predate, predate other fish? Would they go after and go into killer predator mode? I don't know. Maybe. They didn't go after those silver dollars when they were a lot smaller. So then again, the Buenos Aires tetras might just go back to the aquatic critter. They'll give me a credit, and I can use that credit for other stuff. Ronald says the world is on fire again. I sure hope not. Karen has some driftwood. Isn't it funny, the things that make us happy? Did you buy it, Karen, or did you harvest it from a local forest or a stream? The driftwood I have in the 210 gallon is from a local lake, Percy Lake, and love that piece of wood. It's never settled down. It's been in the tank for over a year, still floating. It stopped releasing tannins. Okay, Discus North says that their discus are not bothered by the movement of the Congos. That would be a very beautiful combination, because Congos, I think the blue Congo tetras, I think they're some of the most underrated, under-discussed, beautiful fish in the hobby. I mean, their finnage, the fin shape on Congo tetras is beautiful. There goes my voice-activated Siri in the background. You hear it? Karen has a large flower horn named Ziggy. Did you folks hear about the runaway escaped zebra that was running all over Nashville? I think his name was Zeke, but the internet changed his name to Ed, maybe because of Mr. Ed, the program that used to be on TV. But anyway, now we have murals popping up around Nashville, zebra murals. So there you go. Yeah, that's how I feel, Discus North. If it's not broke, don't fix it. I like to continue with what's working. Flower horns were really the rage for a while there. You were seeing them everywhere on YouTube. It seems to have kind of settled back a little bit. I know even Joey, the king of DIY, had one. I think his name was Frank, and I don't know what happened to Frank. I think he might have passed away, but they are, I hear, one of the most aggressive fish you can get. Okay, did anybody guess what my secret fish is that I have in a tank behind me? It's behind the 90 gallon. It's a fish that I have had before. I've tried to grow out, but I wasn't successful at growing them out. If you can guess, I will go ahead and send you a little bit of Northfin food to the person who can guess. Ready? Go ahead. Take a long shot guess and see. Proverbs, a shark. You know, I love red-tailed sharks. But every one I've had has been just a complete jerk. As soon as they got big. Yeah, not a shark. Not a shark. Not a walleye. Grow more veggies, not a walleye. Not a pike. It's not a pike. Anyway, we can wait for the big reveal. That's a good guess, Ron. I love clown loaches, but it's not a clown loach. The Proverbs, great white. Okay. Now, see, if you'd said that at the beginning. Female red tear, no, but another good guess. But no. And boy, do I love female red tears. Discus North, a dolphin. No, you talk about the dolphins. There are African cichlids that are called dolphins, blue dolphins, and it's not one of those. Those are very pretty, though. They seem to do well in groups. Not an arowana. Karen, I use Fritz A+ salt. Karen's asking about the salt I use. I use Fritz A+, and it has worked for me. I once actually saved a fish. I saved a fish that had horrible bloat, And I just put him in a 5-gallon tank with a tablespoon of that, and in 3 days he was back to normal. It like was unbelievable. Barracuda. No, there is a African cichlid that's referred to as a barracuda. That's a great guess. Starry Night, Z-Zip. That's a great guess, but that's not it. Trout. Oh, I already have a trout. Unless you're talking about a rainbow trout or a German brown trout. Puffer. You know, I'd love a puffer. It's not a puffer. I've been thinking about a puffer, though. They're so cute. They have so much personality. I've just got to know more about them. I just got to feel more comfortable about having one. Eye biter? No. I might be done with eye biters for a little while. Somebody had an OB eye biter, and I thought, oh my goodness. Yeah, talk about a assassin fish. Half-banded spiny, an eel? No. Anyway, let's just wait. Let's wait for the big reveal. That's okay. Neon tetras? No. Trouser trout? No. Ron. A bicher? Is that how it's pronounced? Bicher? It's not a bicher. Those are cool, though. I've thought about those. I call them dinosaur fish. They just remind me of something you'd see in a 2000 BC movie. Paul 165, are you talking about the red-tailed sharks? Is that what you're referring to? I mean, I love that jet black and the bright red. You know, when they're really healthy and you're feeding them the right food and they're growing and they get that super deep, dark, matte black and then that bright electric red tail. They really are a beautiful fish. But man, oh man, they can be a real problem. A leaf fish. No, not a leaf fish. Do you folks watch that British channel, MD? I think it's, is it aquarium or aquatic MD or... Anyway, he grows plants. He grows planted plants. And he put a bunch of archer fish into a new build, a bunch of archer fish. And then what he did is he took flake food and he attaches it to the inside of the aquarium. Like about an inch or two above the waterline. And the archer fish will shoot water and hit the flakes until they break up and drop into the tank and then eat them. It was very, very cool. Very, very cool. Archer fish. No, not another red tear. I'm kind of done with them for now. No, not a knife fish. You folks are not giving up. MD fish tanks. That's probably it. Out of the UK, he's got a beautiful fish studio. And he does, some of his videos are an hour and a half long, but he did this one build recently where he put archer fish in it. And he was giggling like a little baby, like a kid, watching him shoot streams of water and hit the flakes and knock them into the aquarium. And he said that there were some small little flies in the fish room and they suddenly disappeared. And he thinks the archer fish nailed them and ate them. So, anyway, very, very cool. Rainbow sharks are cool. I don't know if are they as aggressive as the red tail? Karen says she had an archer fish and loved them. Apparently, they do well in groups. Did you have them in a group, or did you have one? And yes, bichers do get big, Whip. I love the ones behind John at KG Tropicals. He's got those bichers living with the Oscars behind him when he does his live streams. Really do look like big dinosaurs. Mr. Sophisticated, yes. MD fish is I would call him a master. He has a very good plant sponsor. He has several sponsors. I mean, he does such good work. He deserves sponsors, and he gets large volumes of plants sent to him, so he can swap out and rip out and replace, and so he's like an artist working in a studio, and it's really great to watch. Red-tailed flagfish. I don't know if I've heard of flagfish, Miguel. I considered an American flagfish when I was battling bearded algae, because I heard they're great at eating all types of algae. No hints. Proverbs, no hints. Gulper catfish, I'd never buy one of those. It's right above red-tailed catfish. Yeah, ex-colleague Kev, it's pretty interesting to watch. I mean, it's also, the arowanas will. I mean, they'll jump out of their tank. Their entire body will come out to grab something hanging from a twig. Like if you put something above them, like from on a branch, their whole body comes out of the tank. So much force and with such high speed that it's no wonder that so many people lose arowanas who have broken through the lid. They've broken through the plastic cover on the tank, and they find them on the floor because they're such powerful jumpers. No, not a betta. You folks refuse to give up. Even though I love betta, the bettas that I had, I loved. So at any rate, keep an eye out for this fish is going to be in quarantine and probably will remain in that tank for 2 to 3 months to put on a little size before I put him into the big tank. And I am going to be getting some fish from Andre over at Beantown, so watch for that. That should be interesting. We are discussing quarantine and protocols that he's doing on them. I'm going to go over those with him in Houston because I think because of their size, they're probably going to have to go directly into the 300. But if he does a proper, thorough quarantine and medicating and all that good stuff down in Houston, I'm going to have confidence. I mean, his last batch went directly into the 300, and I had no problems whatsoever. So there you go. Z-Zip, I saw a video of an arowana in the wild jump and grab a monkey off of a branch. Holy moly. Wasn't there a Gary Larson? For those of you familiar with Gary Larson, there's a Gary Larson cartoon where there's a bunch of alligators below the branch and the hanging monkeys, and one of them is just the tail. The monkey's gone, but the tail is still on the branch, and there's a bunch of alligators, and one monkey is saying, "Hey, where's Bill? You know, what happened to Bill?" Chocolate cichlid, you guys are not giving up. Ronald, chocolate cichlid. Nope. I already have 2 of those, and for some reason they get along. I'm not messing with that one bit. Somehow they've made peace with each other. And hopefully if I put that gold-spotted severum... Now, do you think a gold-spotted severum would get along with discus? Or do you think that they might get into it with each other? But I'm hoping that the gold-spotted severum would not get picked on by the red shoulder, who used to pick on them back in the 90s. Now, since then, the red-spotted gold severum has become much bigger and much thicker and might actually be bigger than the red shoulder in the 210. So that would be of some concern. But what do you think? Do you think a red-spotted severum would get along with discus? For those of you who tuned in late, if you would like one of my holographic cichlids and coffee stickers, please send me an email with your full name and address to ben.o.cichlid@gmail.com. Whips World, Plan B is a better plan. Well, $1,500 to $2,000 is the Plan B. So that's the. Now, if we did a GoFundMe fundraiser here on the channel, which you know I'm not going to do, but Plan B is really expensive. But Plan B, I would pull the trigger on Plan B. If this first plan doesn't work, I would go with Plan B. So, without question, I would figure out a way to do it. Ron, it's not a rope fish, but I will say this. If you look at that video when I visited Aquatic Critter, there's a rope fish in there somewhere. I didn't mention him, but you see him at the bottom of one of the tanks. I really regret not buying him. He was awesome. And then I went back there to buy the fish, the mystery fish, and somebody was buying that rope fish. And he was like $15-$20. He's like this big. I thought, man, I should have bought that rope fish. He was really cute. Bye, Karen. Thanks for stopping by. And you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and head out. I've got to go pick up my wife, my daughter, and my 2 granddaughters who were down having fun over at Clearwater Beach. I'm going to go pick them up at the airport. And do you folks remember a comedian named Jon Wallace? Not the horrible Southern governor, but the comedian Jon Wallace. He used to have a joke. He said, "Don't make friends in Los Angeles because sooner or later you're going to have to give them a ride to the airport." Anyone who lives in Los Angeles or has lived in Los Angeles can appreciate that joke. All right, my friends, you are the best. Thank you so much for stopping by. And we're going to go ahead and let this live stream upload without commercials. And then I'll go ahead and add some maybe tomorrow afternoon. Keep an eye out for the review, the full review on the Higer high efficiency AC/DC air pump. And stay tuned for some fish that are going to be added, my mystery fish reveal, and all kinds of good stuff coming up down the pike in the fish room. Big shout out to my moderators. Big shout out to my my wonderful Patreon Garage Gang members, and to all of you who watch. Give a thumbs up, comment, share, and subscribe. You're all the best. Thank you so much, and I will see you folks. I'll see you folks next week. Actually, you know what? Next week, I'm going to be out of town with my wife. We're going to take the weekend off. So no live stream next week. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Take care, my friends. You're the best. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.